And I think a lot of times in marriages, we don't always think that our spouse appreciates us. It's one thing for you to meet somebody and they're already together, but it's another thing for you to go through what they went through, and then you can appreciate who that person is because you actually saw what went into making of that person. I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, if it's you and your wife decided you wanted to change the color of one of your rooms, okay? And then one day, all of a sudden, the husband came, he painted the room, and it was over. She just stood there. Oh, that looks nice. Well, what would have happened if the wife would have picked up a brush too, and they were in there and painting at the same time, and then all of a sudden they got the color wrong? Uh-oh, we got to go back to the store and get the right color, or this doesn't match what we thought it would match. See, it's those things that we learn about each other through adversity that allows us to appreciate that person that we're with. And I think that is a lot of what we're missing. We're waiting on other people to get their lives right instead of appreciating what went into making of that person and the struggles that that person goes through. You don't know what you're dealing with until you've actually had to get knocked down and get back up. I'll give you another example. Say, for instance, you're in your car and you're driving, you're having one of those days that all of a sudden somebody hits you and now your car's all banged up. And now you got to call the insurance company and say, hey, look, I was in an accident. And then on your way to work, you was like, I can still drive it. Then you mess around and you hit a pothole. And then now you got to change the tire. So now you changing the tire on your busted car. Now all of a sudden you put the tire back on and then it starts raining. You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden it's rain on you again. And then after that, you get back and you get everything together. You put the tire back on. And then you get back in the car and your car catch on fire. You see what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you was like, man, what kind of day is this? So you was like, you know what? I'm gonna call a tow truck. They're gonna come pick my car up and I'm gonna get on the bus. And then you run into Ashley. And all of a sudden the bus breaks down. And now you're gonna be an hour late for work. You know what I mean? A lot of times people like to call that a bad day. Well, we don't call it a bad day. We call that a character building day. Now, imagine if somebody was with you and they saw you go through all of that. They would appreciate the person that you are because you persevered no matter what. And I think a lot of times we miss the appreciation of who people are when they go through the things that they go through. And then we miss the very important part that actually makes that person who they are. So you're not really able to choose the person that you need to choose until you actually see what that person goes through. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up. You see what I'm saying? So as long as you fall down and you can see it up, you can get up. And I think a lot of times when we choose our spouses, I think a lot of times we need to take time out to look and think what went into making that person, And I think that's the main reason why we need to have more telling in these conversations with singles and married people and start telling them, hey, look, there are going to be days where your car's going to catch on fire and it's going to rain on you and you're going to have to catch the bus.